kind of like a casual Friday. It's Friday, February 4th, 2022. This is the Just Baseball Show. Jack McMullen, Peter Apple. We're doing a couple of different things. We're talking about, it's almost like contenders or pretenders. We're looking at the championship window. And you hear a lot of the time when you have like GM changes or manager changes or like certain guys coming up from the system, it's the championship window opens now. What does that actually mean? Who's in the championship window? We're going to give you that answer today. We're also going to do some fun over-under stuff. But first and foremost, Peter, how are you? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. You know, usually we have Arm Layton on these, but it's just us two today. He's flying from Florida back to New York City, where it is still freezing and terrible. But it's even worse down where you are, isn't it?
Yeah, man. This isn't a polar vortex, but the Midwest has done me dirty. Massive snowstorm in the Midwest right now. Big win for Ball State Hoops. Big loss for the men's team against Ohio. The Ohio Bobcats are going to win an NCAA tournament game. So when you get your bracket in March and you see Ohio as the 12 seed and you see them taking on 5 seed fraudulent, I don't know, whoever the hell, make sure Ohio is in the round of 32. The Ohio Bobcats are really, really good. But a nice win for the Ball State Cardinals on the women's side over the Ohio Bobcats. What time you think I got in this morning?
I think you got in. Well, I know when you got in. I know you got in around 3 a.m, but also shout out Chris Longo, Ohio alum.
Yes.
He's been riding them, betting on them in college basketball, and they continue to win. And I even said, are you sure Ohio's this good? He's like, I'm sure Ohio is this good.
When you turn on Ohio on the Turner family of networks, the first round of the NCAA tournament, Ben Vanderplas. Everybody knew Jason Preston last year. Preston's an LA Clipper now, but Preston was the guy that was like everybody's soft spot during the tournament when they beat Virginia last year. But Vanderplas was also on that team. Ben Vanderplas, white kid with flow, a headband, and a sick full mustache. And the dude is like a strong and thick cut 6'8" with a silky smooth jumper, like one of the best mid-major basketball players in America. So highly recommend. Shout out the Fighting Chris Longos. I did not get in around 3 a.m. I got back to my place of residence at 4:20 in the morning.
4:20.
That's 4:20. Cool. And it was not a fun 4:20.
It doesn't sound like a fun 4:20.
So we left. It was a 7 o'clock tip in Athens, Ohio, which is 3.5 hours away from Muncie, Indiana, which in turn is 45 minutes with no snow on the ground to Fishers, Indiana, which is just northeast of Indianapolis. We leave Athens expecting that we might run into some issues weather-wise because we've got this massive blizzard that has just been hammering everybody in the Midwest. Indy, Chicago, Detroit, everybody getting hit hard. We don't hit weather, but the bus starts beeping about 45 minutes into the drive. A pipe burst on the bus, and the bus shut down. So on the side of the highway, just west of Columbus, Ohio, me and the rest of the Ball State women's basketball team were sitting on the bus for about 2 hours waiting for another bus to come. The bus came, and 2 hours and 15 minutes to your destination with a blizzard happening turns into about 3 hours. So we pull into the parking lot at Ball State at 3:15, get off the bus. I've got to de-ice my car. I pull back into Fishers, Indiana at 4:20 in the morning, and I slept the latest I've ever slept in my life.
A pipe burst, huh? What was the atmosphere in the bus as soon as you get the message?
It was a good win. And for the most part, college athletes are usually like, you know, just kind of happy to be there, like up and peppy a little bit. So for the most part, it was funny.
All right. At least that was good. I have a travel story to tell you. It goes all the way back to my freshman year, and I travel all the time, you know, coming back from California, where I'm from. I went to Syracuse University, back to New York City. You know, we go to Florida all the time to see Aram and do some work down there. So I'm out and about usually, but this is the craziest travel story I've ever had. And I don't mean to one up you in any way, because a pipe burst on a bus. Yeah, I might not, but I might. So listen in.
Yeah.
So my freshman year of college, like I said, coming from Santa Barbara to Syracuse, I have no idea what's truly going to happen in the depths of winter up there in upstate New York. Some of the most snow in the country is in Syracuse, New York, because of the lake effect. A lot of, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going home for winter break. It's my first time flying home. I order a taxi, for the morning. I call it the night before because there's a huge blizzard. Like, it's terrible. And they're like, you got to order your cab the night before. My flight's at 8 a.m. So I got to get there. So I order my taxi at 5:30 in the morning. Got to get there early. Taxi doesn't show up. It's 5:45. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on here? 6 o'clock, not showing up. Taxi finally shows up at 7 in the morning. Remember, I have an 8 a.m. flight. So I'm just hustling to the airport. I get right in. It's around 7:15, 7:20. They say, oh, no, you're too late to check it back because you have to do it an hour before. And I'm an 18-year-old. No, I just turned 19 because my birthday is on December 3rd. So I have no idea what to do. Thank you. Thank you, by the way.
Yeah.
I have no idea what to do. No idea. So I'm looking around.
You
and
start crying.
Not crying, but I'm nervous because this is a Friday and they say the next flight out of Syracuse isn't until Tuesday and the dorms are closed.
Jeez.
So I'm like, oh my, what am I going to do here? And they're like, well, we could possibly put you up in a hotel room for the night. And I'm like, well, I have nowhere else to stay. I don't know anyone
like 3
here.
nights. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And it's a blizzard, by the way, for a kid who didn't know you had to buy a winter jacket. I thought sweatshirts would suffice.
They're fine.
They're fine, but they don't do the job, especially in the depths of winter. So I'm walking around trying to figure out a plan. And a guy behind me, same problem. But the guy behind me was an Army veteran. Remember, he's 26, 27 years old. So he says to me, there's a flight in Dulles that goes to LAX, Washington, D.C. Do you want to drive with me to Washington, D.C.? Because we can make this flight and get out of here today. And I'm like, I call my dad. I'm like, Dad, I'm going to get in a car with an Army guy.
With a stranger.
Like, that's how I said it. I remember a stranger, complete stranger, but he looks so professional. I instantly, he's wearing the uniform. I'm like, I want to trust this guy. He seems so nice because I can't rent a car, right? So they're like, you could rent a car and drive yourself. I'm like, I'm 19. I can't rent a car. Yeah. So I get in the car with this guy and we drive from Syracuse, New York to Washington, D.C. He's telling stories about the war.
That's like an 8-hour drive.
It was an 8-hour drive.
Yeah.
Telling stories about the war. Unbelievably nice guy, but so vivid because he knows he's never going to see me again. Right. So he's telling stories about like people he's killed. Jesus. Like, this was a gnarly drive. I get to Washington, D.C., take the flight, and I get home. And that whole thing took around 27 hours.
Oh my God. That's pretty fun.
That's a story, right?
Yeah, I feel like both of those are just like fun stories. Like, it's something that we're just going to remember for the rest of our lives.
Rest of our lives.
That's sweet. Do you remember his name?
I don't. I know. I don't remember his name.
See, that's
and honestly, thing, like, I don't think he wouldn't want me to give out his name. Like, he told like crazy stories. Like, even if I did remember, but I quite honestly, I don't remember his name.
But like, that's also the thing that our mind is just wired to do. Like, you're about to spend 8 hours in the car with this guy and he introduces himself, says his name, and then like you just forget it immediately. Like, oh fuck, like what was his name? Oh my God, like 20 seconds into the drive. And for the next 8 hours, you got to pretend that like you know his name. It's just like, you don't have to say it. You can say my man, dude, guy, like what up, champ? Just anything but Dave.
I was just so lucky. And if it had been anyone else, like it could have been another nice person, but if they
guy
weren't
could have busted out a crack pipe. Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have trusted him. And then, but I got it with this guy and he was amazing. And he drove me all the way down there. And I was like, do you want to split this? And he's like, no, don't worry about it. Go get your flight. And I was like, okay, I'm here. Like, that was sick. This guy was awesome. And then he drives away. I never see him again.
Did you like kiss him on the cheek or something? Like,
no
you gotta
kisses
leave
on the
him
cheeks.
You
just
gotta
daps.
leave him with like.
And I do remember handshake, like a good one. You know when you clap on a dap and it makes that like kind of that decibel,
like clean as shit.
Clean as shit dap. Like he remembers that for sure.
Yeah,
even though shit really good dapper, by the way. I'm really good at it. I know how to get the air pocket for the sound.
Do you do the snap afterwards, or are you actually cool?
Oh yeah. No, I do the snap. I'm not actually cool.
Okay. I was gonna say usually the more subdued dap, the more cool you are.
No, I make a
Yeah.
scene of I make a scene about it for sure.
Oh God. All right. Not cool. Good to know. But yeah, two great travel stories. And now we should probably talk about baseball. You in?
Well, let's talk baseball. We got
Okay.
over-unders to do.
We're going to do the niche
Championship windows.
over-unders. Yeah, we're going to do the niche over-unders at the end, but I do want to talk about the championship windows right now because I find it to be a fascinating concept. You know, when Chris Bryant comes up, like his rookie of the year, he wins NL rookie of the year. The Cubs weren't necessarily in the championship window. And you talk about teams who like might be a year premature of their championship window. Like you talk about, maybe the Padres in 2020, they outperformed what we were expecting them to. We were like, okay, 2021, 2022, that's when the window opens. But 2020, it's like, oh shit, you're really good. The White Sox this past year, they weren't supposed to be as good as they were last year. Like their window was supposed to open 2022, 2023. But then you've got teams that, are just in it and like underperform like crazy. I mean, I'm trying like, I don't want to bury you, but like the Yankees have done that. Like they have missed windows.
No, you're not burying me. How many times have I said it?
Yeah. No, I mean, like
that's just
you guys, fact. You've had windows there since 2009. You've had pockets of like 2-3 years where you should be considered. Yeah.
Plenty.
No, and they just don't perform to it. But there are also teams that haven't sniffed a championship window in a really long time. I think about the Pittsburgh Pirates, and we're going to run through all 30. Like the Pirates were simply going to say no and move on. But the Pirates, when they had McCutchen, Gregory Polanco, who was actually good at the time, and Starling Marte in the outfield with like Garrett Cole in that rotation, they were a really good team. Like they were a fringe 100 win team. But were they ever really going to win the World Series? And I think everybody knew that the answer was no.
I agree. And also another thing about the Pirates. First, we are slandering them, saying that the championship window is not open. And it's a fact.
It's not.
Just it's not a situation. But let's shout out the Pirates for a second. Mitch Keller, have you been seeing some of his bullpens?
It looks good.
Dude's touching 101.
Yeah.
Like he looks
Mitch Keller,
really good.
He was the
he
guy.
Could be a guy.
He was a prospect.
Still a guy. I'm not ready to completely give up on him yet, especially after watching what I've been seeing in these bullpens. I know it's not a ton, but it piques my interest. It's like, can this guy still be good? Because it's not some random touching 101, like you were saying. Like Mitch Keller was a top guy at one point. If he can find it again, I have no problem.
Dude. I mean,
he's better than he is.
The Pirates were thinking about building their future rotation around Garrett Cole, Tyler Glasnow, and Mitch Keller. There was a world where that happened.
Oh yeah, that did happen.
And all three of them went away, except Keller. Keller's still there, but like the two guys who are actually really freaking good right now went away.
I'm also excited for O'Neal Cruz to see what he is, because his 6'7" shortstop, we've never seen anything like him. But the exit velos, he's got a lot of promise. But I feel like he might be the highest ceiling, lowest floor prospect. Like he could just be a guy who's never healthy and never turns into anything, or he could turn into some Aaron Judge, not Shohei Ohtani pitching as a pitcher, but as a hitter. That kind of just incredible power we could see. So I have no idea what we're going to see from O'Neal Cruz.
Yeah, Keith Law. We've talked about Keith Law's top 100 prospects, and one of the replies that I saw on that was, "Is O'Neal Cruz a top 10 prospect?" I don't know if it was Keith responding directly or if it was somebody else that said, if you line them up by height, he absolutely is a top 10 prospect. Like that was
the best
very
prospect
funny.
ever. If you line him up by height.
Yeah, boom. I mean, like he is definitely in the back row of the school picture, like the class picture in high school. You know what I'm talking about? So let's start rolling through these. We'll start with the National League and then go to the American League. We'll work east to west. We are going to go through all 30 teams. Like the Atlanta Braves, who won the division at 88 and 73. They're still in the championship window because they have Acuna and Albies and name everybody else.
Absolutely, the rotation from Morton to Fried to Ian Anderson, Soroka's coming back, Huascar Yanoa, Tucker Davidson, Kyle Muller, Kyle Wright. I mean, you could just keep on going. The bullpen, we all know about Nutsack and the rest of them. Like they're all phenomenal. The offense is going to be great. They just got to re-sign Freddie. But yes, championship window absolutely open, and right now they're the favorites in the NL East for me.
I think so. The Mets are in their championship window too. Like
absolutely,
you could make the argument that they weren't there, even with DeGrom and Lindor. Although a World Series title was within grasp last year, and then what do? They go and add Max Scherzer, future first ballot Hall of Famer Max Scherzer, a top 100 player of all time, according to recent guest Joe Posnanski. So, like, the Mets are totally in the window.
Totally in the window. Starting pitching wins championships. The only problem with the Mets is that the depth of starting pitching isn't great, but it's still good. Like, what will we see from Taijuan Walker, from Carlos Carrasco, from guys like David Peterson, Tylor McGill? I don't know, but what we're going to see is pure dominance from DeGrom and Scherzer, and the Mets championship window rides with them. I mean, we're expecting a big bounce back year from Francisco Lindor. I mean, we didn't even go over him in our bounce back years because I think we're both just sold Francisco Lindor is going to go right back to being Francisco Lindor. But it rides on the starting pitching, and if DeGrom and Scherzer don't stay healthy, you won't see the Mets in the playoffs. But if they do, you could see them vying for a World Series ring.
Right. And again, we are not a health dependent podcast. We just talk
We're
about
not a
what's
health
happening
dependent
on
podcast.
the field.
Yes.
I don't think the Phillies can win the World Series, dude. I just don't see it.
Everything has to go right. I mean, they have no bullpen. Like, who's going to shut down games for them in the back end?
The answer last year was Ian Kennedy. But like,
fine.
Listen, they've got a really good big three with Wheeler,
big three,
Harper, and like Aaron Nola, maybe, but also Suarez. Like, they're fine. But the thing is,
Harper was one of their pitchers.
No. Like, I'm saying a big three in terms of just players on the roster.
No, then you threw Ranger Suarez in there. I was like, oh, is it a big four with Ranger Suarez? I mean, I fuck with Ranger Suarez.
If you're looking at like the top three players, like if you're on a video game and you're looking at like the overalls ranked, like if you're just looking at the roster and it's like, this guy's a 95, this guy's a 94, this guy's a 91.
Yeah. No, I feel
and then the next highest is like a 79. Like, that's the Philadelphia Phillies. You've got like three really good players.
Rhys Hoskins, they got some dudes. They're not, it's not three guys and then some 79s. Like, first of all, Ranger Suarez is good. Like, he's actually good.
He is, but like, the reality is, if you had to give these guys like a rating on MLB The Show, like Rhys Hoskins is not over an 80 right now.
Yeah, he is.
You think so?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I'm going to look at...
He's 30 bombs, 100 RBIs. I bet he's like an 82.
I'm actually going to Google right now, Rhys Hoskins MLB The Show rating.
We're just through three teams, and we can't even get through them all.
That's fine.
No, I like this.
Rhys Hoskins, overall 79.
I mean, that's disrespectful to him.
I don't think so. Like, he hasn't proved that he's like a really, really good player yet. He's a good player.
Okay, but
really,
a 79 is just good. No, 79 is fine. He's not a fine player. He's a good player. Should be an 82, maybe even an 83.
He's a fine player. The Marlins are not going to win a championship this year. They're not in the window, but if all the pitching prospects work out, 2024, the window opens.
All they need to do is hit, because they have maybe the best young rotation in all of baseball, and starting pitching wins championships. But they need guys in the lineup. I'm expecting Jesus Sanchez to really take a step forward. But like, you go down the lineup and there's just not a ton to be excited about. But I don't think they finish below the Nationals. I think they finish above.
It's hard.
It's hard. It's just, nobody's going to pitch to Juan Soto next year. Also, there was this great, I want to pull it up because Codify had this awesome tweet.
It was 600 plus on base percentage. Like the longest stretch of having a 600 OBP.
Barry Bonds had 211 games straight. Longest span with a 600 plus on base percentage. Barry Bonds, 211 games. Ted Williams, 69 games. Babe Ruth, 66 games. No one else is even with 40 games. And I bet that Juan Soto will actually hit that through his first 40 games next year, considering that nobody will be behind him in the lineup. And if we're looking at the rotation, I like Josiah Gray.
Strasburg.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what we get from Strasburg. We'll see what we get from Patrick Corbin. I like Keibert.
I don't really like Keibert Ruiz.
I like him. I like him. And
I don't.
That's it, though. Like, there's not really else to hang your hat on over there in Washington anymore.
Here's the thing, though. Like, if Cade Cunningham had Juan Soto's abilities, but on a basketball court, like if Cade Cunningham was the Juan Soto of basketball, the Pistons are like, you could make the Eastern Conference Finals. Like that's the difference between a sport like basketball and a sport like baseball, because you've got the best player on planet Earth right now in Juan Soto, who you're right, could have a 600 OBP through the first 40, 50 games of the season. I mean, we could be looking at a guy who's like dancing around a 500 OBP for the year through 162 games.
Wouldn't be that surprised. And to your example about Cade Cunningham on the Pistons, what about LeBron dragging a 2007 Cavs team to the finals?
Exactly.
That team had like Mo Williams.
Anderson Varejao and Zydrunas Ilgauskas. Like nobody.
That's not an NBA team.
No, it's a quadruple A team. It's a G League team that he took to the NBA Finals. Like Juan Soto is in baseball what LeBron James was in his first stint in Cleveland, and that is the wonder boy.
That's a take. You understand? That is a take. Not to say even disagree with it. That is a take. Juan Soto emerging as the LeBron James of basketball, but it's not crazy. You got a 146 WRC plus as a 19-year-old. You had a 143 as a 20-year-old. You had a 201 WRC plus in the shortened COVID year, but then he comes right back next year, 163. I'm not saying it's wrong, but like saying Juan Soto is the LeBron James is it's a take for sure.
I guess it's a take. I mean, like the way that I look at it is Juan Soto. I think everybody would say he's the second best player in baseball right now behind Mike Trout, right?
I would. Yep.
So best player in basketball at the time when LeBron first came up was Kobe with the Lakers. Yeah. But Kobe was the guy who was already established, much like Mike Trout. But LeBron was pretty fucking sexy when he first came up. Like he was like, this is the guy that I want to tune into more so than Kobe right now. And that's how I feel about Juan Soto. I'd rather watch a Juan Soto AB than a Mike Trout AB right now.
It's a good one.
I'm going to stand by it. Juan Soto right now is LeBron James' first stint in Cleveland.
I like it. I don't hate it. I like it.
But they're not in the championship window. NL Central. Milwaukee is in the championship window on starting pitching alone, but they got to add hitting.
Until they do. You can't. We just saw this series against the Braves. They can't hit. It's you lose 1-0 games, you lose 2-1 games. The moment that starting pitching doesn't come into play, it's over. I'm not sold on the Brewers are in a championship window unless they add a championship window.
So like
if they get there,
but like they can't win a World Series right now.
I don't think they can win a World Series right now if they don't address the offense. I really don't think so, because if Christian Yelich does not return back to Christian Yelich,
I think I'm with you. I think if they do nothing, the Brewers can't win a championship.
I agree.
Cardinals can.
Can they?
You wince. I think they can.
They could.
I think the window's closing.
They have to,
honest.
And the other side, they got to address the starting pitching. Like their three in the playoffs will be Adam Wainwright, Jack Flaherty, and probably Steven Matz.
Yeah, fuck. That's bad.
You have a guy in your 40s who was phenomenal last year. He's one of 4 starters to throw 200 innings. But he could do it again. But yeah, exactly. He's just getting up there in age. That's just Father Time is undefeated. Like it just happens. We don't know if he's going to do it again.
Except against Tom Brady.
Facts. But Tom Brady just retired. Congrats to Tom Brady, by the way. Also,
congrats.
Hilarious that he just didn't like acknowledge Boston fans.
I loved it. it. No, I mean like
back to Jack Flaherty. Like I expect a top 20, 25 pitcher in Jack Flaherty when healthy, and then Steven Matz, who has not proved that he can stay healthy routinely, but could be a good pitcher, a ground ball guy with that defense. But like, is that like, then you're going up against Urias and Buehler or Logan Webb or DeGrom and Scherzer, or with the Braves, like, or with the Brewers. Like, no, I'm not going to put
So what was the conclusion from that? I didn't get anything from that.
Because my wheels are turning. I would say the Cardinals need to address starting pitching before I put them in a championship window.
If they get our guy Bassett, are they World Series possibility?
Yes.
Yeah.
They just need someone solid in there.
Yeah.
They need someone solid who I can bank on giving me 175 innings.
Yeah. Reds, Cubs, and Pirates. In the words of Jim Rome, I frankly have nothing to add to that. Let's move on.
If the Cubs sign Carlos Correa, are they?
No.
Agreed.
Right? Like, I don't think the Cubs should sign Correa.
Whether we believe it or not, I'm just saying if they do, would you put them in a championship window? I would not.
I would not.
Okay.
I agree. Okay. The NL West, they've got 3 teams. I think they have 2 that can legitimately win it in 2022, but the Padres, their window's open now. But the Giants and Dodgers, like, yeah.
Who has a bigger window open right now? The Padres, Brewers, or Cardinals?
Padres. Because you've got Machado and Tatis long-term. You've got Cronenworth long-term. You've got Grisham long-term. You can extend
on paper, I'd say you're right, but until the Padres prove that they belong here.
Yeah. And here's the thing with like St. Louis, everybody's under control for them in terms of the bats. Like Yadi Molina is going to need to be replaced, but like you've got Goldschmidt and Arenado on big contracts. You've got the outfield like stood pat. O'Neill, Bader, and Carlson aren't going anywhere because you got a bajillion years of control for them.
Edmonds not going anywhere.
No, you got a lot of team-friendly shit going on for both sides.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Dodgers, Giants, yes. Well, are we saying Giants? Yes. I say Giants, yes.
I say Giants, yes. Like, here's the thing. Like, I've said Giants no since like 2014, and I said no last year, and they kicked my teeth in. So like, I'm just gonna say yes. I'm okay eating that one. I'm more okay eating that one than I am the Minnesota Twins, to be totally honest.
I'm just going to say the Giants are good until they're not, because not only do I believe it, I also have been burned on this team countless times. And although maybe on paper, they don't blow you away, maybe you'd say the Padres are definitely better, but I think the Giants still will finish with a better record in 2021 than the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to do the humor technique and bring the mic super close for this.
I think the Colorado Rockies can win the World Series in 2022.
They're going for it, apparently.
Going for it by signing Antonio Senzatella for a long-term deal. Rockies and Arizona Diamondbacks. Again, in the words of Rome, frankly, I have nothing to add to that. Let's move on. But more on the Arizona Diamondbacks a little bit later on in the episode. Wink, wink. AL East, 4 teams can win the World Series.
Yep. I mean,
that's crazy.
If you told me rank those 4 teams, you could rank them in legit any order, and I'd be like, you know what, you're kind of on par. All right,
it's Friday. Do it. It's Friday. It's February. You said we are pulling no punches. We're just going balls to the wall this month. I need you to do it now.
All right. Rays, Blue Jays, Red Sox, Yankees.
Boom. Me exactly.
But it's funny on like the new Zips projections, the Bat X, all this stuff on Fangraphs. I'm not a big fan of projection systems, but it is what it is. They have the Yankees as number 1 in that division. That's what I'm saying. I don't know, but it's clear that all 4 of these teams are really good, and you could rank them in any order, and you wouldn't look like any sort of psychopath. Like if you put the Yankees, then Rays, then Blue Jays, then Red Sox, or you put Red Sox, Yankees, Rays, Blue Jays, every variation of that sounds pretty good. I think they're all going to win above 87 games next year, and we're going right back into the thick of it of just whoever kind of beats each other.
Yeah,
because I mean, even though I rank the Yankees 4th, I still do believe the Yankees will have a good season, and I also don't think that they're done. And it sounds like, Yankee hater right now, but how can I be the Yankee hater? But like I'm putting them 4th, but they could also be 1st.
No, I mean, you look at this division, and the team that finished 4th in the AL East finished 20 games over 500. That
exactly.
It's going to happen again because
Orioles.
the Orioles. I mean, 52 and 110 last year.
Did you see the Cedric Mullins thing? Crohn's
What
disease?
thing? Oh,
The-
no,
the
I
story-
have that. I have it bookmarked. I got to read it.
Dude, it is phenomenal. I'm a Cedric Mullins fan for life.
Cool.
Dude, this guy is amazing, bro. And I don't even want to ruin it. I want everyone to go actually watch that story, watch that video. You can find it. Just search Cedric Mullins, Crohn's disease. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. They've got two guys that are super easy to root for with Mullins and Trey Mancini.
Yeah.
AL Central. Is it the White Sox and that's it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think the White Sox can win the World Series?
Yeah. Luis Robert could become like stupid.
If you don't put $2 on Luis Robert to win the American League MVP, you're not doing
Think about it.
betting properly.
I mean, it's not gambling advice, but like it's a lock. No, it's of course.
But like that's the guy. If you see plus 2,000 for Luis Robert to win AL MVP, like
He could go nuclear.
I mean, this guy has not played a full 162. When he plays a full 162, like we're looking at the type of production that I don't even know who you can compare him to in baseball, because he's going to steal a shit ton of bags. He's going to hit 35 to 40 bombs. He's going to drive in 110. He could hit 290. He could have one of the better seasons in recent memory. Like he's Bryce Harper with more speed when he's on.
No, you know who he is? He's Fernando Tatis Jr. in the outfield.
Yeah. Yeah. With
Not
more
yet.
power. But with more power.
No, he doesn't.
Yes,
Fernando
he does.
Tatis Jr.
Dude.
hit 42 home runs in 130 games.
You should
He was
see
on
some
pace
of
for
Luis.
like 1,000.
Dude, I'm telling you, Luis Roberts' exit velos are stupid. Like they're
Stupid.
what
I know.
the AL, the wild card series against Oakland in 2020, guy hit one like 480 feet. That was like 118 miles an hour.
Yeah, he's hitting 117, 116 pellets like nobody's business. But so is Tatis. Tatis hit 42 home runs in 130 games. Like until Luis Robert does that, maybe in terms of raw power, Luis Robert is right there. But in terms of in-game power, like that's what Tatis is out here doing.
Dude, I also love watching Luis Roberts swing. Like it is actually
Oh.
so mechanically sound.
Yep, absolutely. Yes. Good thing you pointed that out. That swing is money.
It's beautiful, dude. I mean,
Beautiful.
God.
And
like
Eloy
that guy.
could hit 50.
Eloy could hit 50. Eloy
Yeah.
could hit 60.
Like this team could go.
I've got
They could light it up. Like, let's say Lucas Giolito takes the next job. Let's say Lance Lynn doesn't fall back to earth. A lot of things could work out well for this White Sox team. Like if they're humming on all cylinders, that was kind of the reason that you guys were picking them as your World Series winner when we were going back. I know that they lost to the Astros.
Yeah, like here's the
Like
thing.
this-
I've got, as somebody that's going to watch a little bit of all 162 White Sox games this year, I've got zero concern about the offense. Like absolutely
Oh, yeah, you
zero
shouldn't.
concern.
Even
My
without
worry,
Nick Madrigal.
my worry, you could slap Cesar Hernandez again. I know he's not going to be there, but like it doesn't
Got
matter.
fired.
Leori Garcia is going to be the everyday second baseman probably, and like that's
Not as
fine with
fired.
me. I don't care.
Okay.
But like, I just have concerns about the depth in the starting rotation. I love
I do too.
Lance Lynn. I love Giolito. Where do you go from there if you don't bring Rodon back? You know what I mean? Like it's
What- you
Keuchel
tell
who
me.
stinks. I think Kopech is the 3. I mean, Cease is the 4. Like, is Cease going to
Cease
take the
should be the
superstar
3.
jump?
Cease could be the best pitcher on that roster at the end of the season.
Totally. Like I love.
So I don't think you put Kopech at the 3. I think you put Cease legit at the 2 right now.
And Giolito is the 3.
No, Giolito is the 1. Lynn is the 3.
Ooh, no.
Kopech is
I
the
mean,
4.
Lynn just finished like 3rd in Cy Young voting last year. Like Giolito.
No,
might,
I'm just saying what I think
yeah.
the best pitchers on the Chicago White Sox roster will be after 2022.
Yeah, fair. I mean, here's the thing though. Like,
Yeah, opening
As
day.
somebody-
I mean, you might even go Lynn 1.
I think Giolito's going to get the opening day nod just because like
Yeah,
tenure.
probably. Yeah, probably. Well,
but
yeah,
like
yeah, I guess.
as somebody that just like obviously wants them to succeed as a White Sox fan, like I just dream on the possibilities for them, and I ignore the floor. So I'm glad
Okay.
we're on the same page here. You know what I mean? Like I always see
No, I know.
Eloy as, I see Eloy Jimenez as a guy that can hit 50 bombs. And then I see Tim Anderson as a guy that can hit 330. And then Yohan Moncada is 270 with 30 bombs. Like that is what he
think
can
30 bombs from Yohan.
That's
You
what he
could
possibly do.
Yeah. No, if we're looking at ceiling, this White Sox team could win 110 games.
Yeah.
If we're talking ceiling.
I dream on them, and I totally disregard like what happens if somebody bottoms out. But I'm glad that we're on the same page here, that they're like legitimately most exciting offense in baseball.
But also could go wrong.
Could go wrong.
They could not finish first in the division.
Yeah, I like who finishes first in the division if they don't? Cleveland?
Guardians.
But like they're not in a window whatsoever. They can't win a World Series.
They can't, but they're not that far off from what the Brewers are.
I don't know. The Brewers have a much better starting rotation than Cleveland right now.
Better for sure.
Much better. Much better. You're nodding, but I'm going to keep saying much better until you
much better.
Acknowledge. Yeah.
Much better.
Detroit's yes, dude. Yes. Burns and Bieber, let's just call them same plane, even though I think Burns is better.
Even though Burns is better. Yeah.
Yep.
Barely.
Woodruff is better than Quantrill.
I don't know.
Shut up. Freddie is better than Plesac or Tristan McKenzie or whoever the three is. And then Hauser's better than Eli Morgan. Like,
all right. Yeah, no, they're better.
They're better. They're a lot better. Detroit's not in a window. I'm excited for when their window opens, which is hopefully 2024. That gives Torque and Riley Green a couple of years under their belt. That lets everybody else come up. And hopefully Mize has it figured out when he hits arbitration.
You like Torque or Green better?
I like Green better.
I do too.
It's just
I think Green is going to be insane.
Yeah. And like Torque can hit 50 bombs. Like it's the Eloy Jimenez, Luis Robert thing.
Bombs.
He could.
I think Torque's going to have like Goldschmidt power, like 30 to 35. He's going to be like 50.
Nah, dude. Seeing Torque.
Am I off on that?
Yeah. Seeing the way this dude hits a baseball, like he could hit 50 in a year. That's not crazy. It's
who has more power, him or Eloy?
Eloy. But Eloy has more power in terms of like going 460 to dead center. Like Torkelson can go 410 to dead center 2 times when Eloy does 460 once. Like I view Torque as the possibility of Pete Alonso, who I think we know can hit 50.
Wow. Okay.
So I do like Torque with like it's the Eloy versus Luis Robert thing where I would rather have Luis Robert on my team than Eloy Jimenez, even though Eloy Jimenez is really good and could get some MVP votes just because he's going to hit a ton of bombs. Like that's the Torque versus Riley Green thing.
Okay.
Kansas City, when does their window open?
It's up to Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah. Then
and
give him 2 years.
As a Nick Prado. They're just so young.
24.
Maybe.
Minnesota, I mean, you just got to prove me that you don't suck.
Bailey Ober.
Not a World Series caliber starter.
I've been posting on Twitter every single day. I'm naming a player every day until the lockout ends of just players I think that need more attention.
When you name Bailey Ober, I'm canceling that day's podcast.
Just canceling it.
Yes,
I'll release it on a weekend, so you can't get to me. Jorge Polanco is incredible. He had over 30 home runs last year. I don't think enough people know that. Yeah. 30 home runs. Jorge Polanco should play shortstop. Everyone's saying he's better at second base, that he can't play short. I still think he should play short.
And he's not 34 years old. He's like 27.
Yeah, he's not.
AL West is interesting.
Is the most interesting division out of all of this, I think.
Yeah. Because like you've got a 60 and 102 team last year who just
can the Astros win the World Series next year, Jack?
I don't know.
Probably.
Let's get to the Astros, but you've got a 60 and 102 team. Like that's what the Rangers went. They won 60 games last year, and then they just signed Seager and Semien. I don't think
the Rangers had a big time ace. I would put them in some sort of, but like, what is John Gray starting opening day? I
Yeah.
think John Gray's going to shove next year, and I said that. But to what? If we could see a 3.6, 3.7 ERA from John Gray, you'd be like, wow, what a season, 3.5 even. But that's not a definitive ace of like a World Series team. Like I don't see the window open right now for the Rangers.
Yeah. Let's go to the Astros now. Because without
Justin
Correa,
Verlander.
I just say no.
You want a hot take?
Yeah.
Justin Verlander wins the Cy Young next year.
Jesus Christ. I'm gonna clip that.
Gonna
I'm gonna put it out on social
Him
media.
and Corey Kluber are gonna be co-Cy Youngs.
All right, I'm gonna clip that and put that on social media. There we go. Just added another marker. Yeah, Justin Verlander and Corey Kluber, co-Cy Youngs. They split the award. Actually,
No,
rock,
that's
paper,
just-
sitters in Secaucus at the MLB Network studios to decide the AL Cy Young Award winner.
They should do more shit like that. I don't actually think Corey Kluber will, but I do think that the Rays are going to make him really good. But I do think that Verlander is going to come out hot. I do think that he's going to be really good again. And if he's throwing 100 again, or he's throwing high 90s and still got the bender and it's still Verlander in tight pants, we might see him return to dominance.
But like, can Verlander, Luis Garcia, and Framber Valdez and Jose Urquidy be a World Series winning rotation? Oh, McCullers. I totally forgot about McCullers. Verlander, McCullers, Luis Garcia, and Framber Valdez.
Is the McCullers hurt? Is he not going to start the season on time?
I think he is.
I just searched Lance and it goes immediately to Lance McCullers' injury.
No way.
Look it up for the people.
That's Google knowing your search habits, because I just got Lance Armstrong.
Forearm strain, pretty significant.
On December 5th, it said Lance McCullers was about a month away from throwing.
Okay.
So he's
we'll
throwing.
We'll assume he's throwing. So yes, I do. That's one of the best rotations in baseball.
Yeah, damn. All right.
And then they still got other guys minus Carlos Correa. And they're going to add Jeremy Pena, who's like, that's their best shortstop prospect, or at least their most MLB ready one, who all reports out of Houston are saying that he's kind of nasty.
Yeah. That's
They'll be
Arms.
fine.
That's Arms AL Rookie of the Year pick. Sleeper.
Yeah.
See, I actually don't think Seattle can win a World Series this year. I think they can do it in 2023 or 2024. I think they're a year before their window.
You're probably right. 2023, they're going to be nasty.
Yeah, like I'm thinking you got to get big league starts in for Kirby and
And
Rash
you got to let
Hancock.
Julio mature. You got to let Kelnick mature.
Get another year, right?
Yeah. And like, is Noelvi Marte going to be up by 2023?
Yeah, like he could be that rookie spark for Marte or for the Mariners. Like Marte will be up midway through 2023, probably.
That's when I think they're going to be discussing. I agree. I don't. But the window is an interesting conversation. It's like the window, like, could they win it?
When does the window open? And like, I don't think if the
you know what, I
stars
think
align,
it is open. I think it is open. If we're
I
talking
don't
about
think it is.
window, I think it's open.
I just don't think it is. I think the window. I think they're a
What if
year
Julio
premature.
and Jared? What if Julio comes up and it's just insane, and Jared Kelnick shows exactly what he used to be, and like they
See, but
Chris
like,
Flexen takes a step forward. There could be. I agree, but then the rotation, like, I mean, if
Yeah.
Robbie Ray, what if Robbie Ray is still the same Robbie Ray that he was last year?
I think you need growth with the youth, with the bats and the arms. Like, and that's hard to bank on happening this year. Like, say Julio and Kelnick come up aces, right? You still need Kirby to be really good when he comes up. And, you know, like you need a couple more things to happen pitching and hitting wise. I also think they're a piece away. That's why I was so adamant that they should go get Chris Bryant.
If they sign Chris Bryant, is the window? We just said that it was. Now you're thinking no.
I guess it's
if
like
they sign Chris Bryant,
open.
I'm the window is open if they have Chris Bryant. I think
if they sign Chris Bryant, I think I'm squeaking the door open. Yeah, but I mean it's wide open. Like room is cold because the door's been open in wintertime. Like that open in 2023.
Agreed.
Okay. Oakland, no, they're just gonna rebuild. Like
I think they're gonna sell. Yeah.
Last team we got to go over. Yeah, moving on. Last team we got to go over. Anaheim. They just haven't done it.
You know what? Window open. I don't care. Window open. What? If not now, when? If
Never.
not now, when? Never. So yes. Yes. Has to be. Because if it's not, might as well dissolve the team. You have Shohei Ohtani. You have Mike Trout. You have Anthony Rendon. You know, like you have Shohei Ohtani. Win a fucking game, Angels. Come on. Stay healthy, please. Please.
If they stay healthy, like
please.
If they stay healthy, they
please,
can just
Angels. Win. I want them to be good so bad. I want Mike Trout to have World Series ring. I want Ohtani to have a World Series ring. I want Syndergaard to have a World Series ring.
I don't.
I want Patrick Sandoval to have a World Series ring.
I'm cool without Patrick Sandoval having a World Series ring. I'm fine with that.
I'm not.
I mean, like, if everybody's healthy, you've got Rendon at third, you've got Jared Walsh at first, you've got Ohtani as the DH, you've got Joe Adele, who we hope can take a step in the outfield.
Yeah, you like Brandon Marsh?
Like Mike Trout, and then you've got Syndergaard, and you've got Ohtani, and you've got
Stassi is a fine catcher too.
Yeah, I mean, they've got so many pieces. Like, they just
Joe
have
Madden.
to do it. Yeah, like, that's a big piece, actually. Joe Madden is the manager. Yeah, I mean, God, do it now, please.
They should bring back Mike Scioscia.
No, they shouldn't.
Dual managers?
Agree to disagree.
All right, fine.
Let's do over-unders here. We've got the niche over-unders. They're not any that you're going to find on like BetMGM or FanDuel or anything like that.
We made them up.
I've got 3. You've got 3. We'll alternate pitching to each other. You go first.
Okay. Over under 4.5 no-hitters / perfect games next year in 2022. So there was 9 no-hitters in 2021. Crazy record. But there was only 4 no-hitters in 2019, and there was 3 no-hitters in 2018. Jack McMullen, do you think there is over or under 4.5 no-hitters / perfect games next year, and who's throwing them?
Oh, that's a layered question. Ooh.
I thought about it.
Over, because I think hitters are totally okay with striking out. Like, it's kind of ridiculous what hitting has come to now. But they're fine with it. Like, they're fine with a lineup striking out 17 times in a game. So I think there are going to be north of 4.5 no hitters and or perfect games. I think Burns is going to get his first. Okay. I think this is the year that DeGrom does it.
We're saying that every year.
Yeah, but like, I think
it's
this is
weird that he doesn't have one.
Like,
so you're just naming all the best pitchers and saying that they're going to throw it all the same year.
But like, Burns can do it.
Heat.
DeGrom can do it. Freddie Peralta can do it. The guy had like a 120 batting average against. I think Freddie Peralta can be a no-hitter guy. I think there's going to be some weird as shit ones, like the Wade Miley no-hitter with like 8 walks, and like Zach Davies starting a combined no-no. Like, fuck that. But it's going to happen.
Is Edwin Jackson still in the league? He could throw one.
He could. Yeah. Who else was I thinking about? Irvin Santana possibly could throw a no-hitter.
Jared Weaver.
Philip Umber, is he still a guy that exists?
You want to know 2 guys that I think will throw one next year? I think Julio Urias is going to throw one, and I think Logan Webb's going to throw one.
Wow, it's hard though, because like Webb is like contact on the ground guy, and like those
also a guy striking out 10 guys per 9.
Yeah, I agree to disagree on Logan Webb. I could see it with Urias. I could also see it with Walker Buehler.
Oh yeah, I could see it with Walker Buehler. I could see it with Shane Bieber. I could
see it with Sandy.
I could see it with Severino.
How about Sandy?
Yeah, you could. I could see it with Sandy. I could see it with Trevor Moore though. I could see it with Trevor Moore. No. I don't know. Both. I could see it with. I bet Adam Wainwright has like a 3 strikeout no hitter.
Whichever
team.
So
over under 4.5. Over under 4.5.
Over. I said over.
I'm gonna say under.
Why?
There's never been 9 like there was last year. I mean, there literally hasn't. It was a record.
Yeah.
There was 4 in 2019, 3 in 2018. I'm going to say there will be 4 or I would say 4 next year. I think I'm going under.
Okay. I'm going over. Mine over under 106.5 losses for the worst team in baseball this year. So you've got the Pirates who lost 101 games. Got Texas who lost 102. Arizona and Baltimore each lost 110 last year. Arizona hasn't done anything to get better. Baltimore is going to have, oh God, you got to win the first 8 innings to get to Mark Melancon, and Arizona doesn't do that often. Baltimore is going to have Grayson Rodriguez and Adley Rutschman up. Adley on opening day, G-Rod not too far after that. What do you think? Over under 106.5 losses for the worst team in baseball.
I think there's one team who does that, and I think you already named them. I think the Arizona Diamondbacks will finish with worse than 106, but I don't think any other team will. I think the Orioles will be slightly better. I think the Pirates will be slightly better.
Texas way better.
Texas better, obviously. The Diamondbacks not only haven't done anything, but they're not even trending in the right direction if we're talking youth coming up next year either.
Could the Rockies lose 107 games next year?
Nah, because they win at Coors. They
but
just
like Story's not going to be there.
Doesn't matter. They'll win.
John Gray's not going to be there.
They'll win like 78 games.
Oh God. How?
And you'll be like, what?
How?
Or 74. They're not gonna, because they beat teams at Coors.
Okay, so like MLB's partnership with that crypto company where they go to the moon, you know what I mean? Like they've got Moon Man going on here. They just did a home run derby at Coors.
You just said you were going to say you're never talking about crypto again.
Yeah,
and on the next episode, you're literally talking about crypto.
God, I'm a crypto bro right now.
You're
I am such a
put any
crypto
more money
bro.
in Ethereum?
No, $0 more dollars.
Scared.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But like you just had a home run derby at Coors. I think the next step is home run derby on the moon, or at least at like the International Space Station.
Being at the home run derby at Coors Field was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Trevor Story has as much power as anybody. He was hitting like 475-foot home runs in batting practice, like nobody's business.
Man. All right, what's your next over-under?
My next over-under a 140 WRC plus for Wander Franco in 2022. So last year he had a 127 WRC plus. He finished with a 288, 347, 463 slash line with 7 home runs in 70 games. So to give you an idea of what WRC plus even is, 100 is major league average. Every percentage point above that is your percentage points above major league average. And the same goes for below. So to give you more context on who was around a 140 WRC plus, Joey Votto, Nick Castellanos, and Max Muncy all finished at 140. Trey Turner finished at 142. Brandon Crawford finished at 139. So that goes to show kind of the level of how good of a big leaguer you have to be to get a 140 WRC plus. Jack, I'm throwing that to you. I threw it in our group chat. People said under, but slightly. I think probably 135 is just a better guess for a 21-year-old. But then I go back and I think about Juan Soto, and I think he had a 146 as a 19-year-old. He had a 143 as a 20-year-old. He had a 201 as a 21-year-old. Wander Franco is about to be 21 years old. I think that he is one of the next great players in our league. And I'm willing to go on here right now and say that he goes over 140 because that's how much I love the guy. And I think that he could be a 300, 380, 490-ish guy, with an OPS well into the 900s. And I think that would put him there. I think he could be a guy who hits 25 home runs, steals you 20 bags, and hits for a crazy amount of average and and he takes his walks. Like he has incredible plate discipline at such a young age. I think he's going over.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree. You said you were throwing it
Good.
to me, and then you just rolled with like your
I know.
minute thing. Yeah, I'm going
Got too caught
over
up.
because I understand. WRC Plus really values OBP, and I think Wander Franco is actually going to have a really good OBP because pitchers are going to start to nibble against him, and he's going to walk a lot because
Mhm.
he's got one of the best eyes in baseball already. Like it's Juan Soto level in terms of eye because he doesn't.
Not that level. No level is even. No,
Okay,
nobody's
Juan
on
Soto
his level.
light.
But
Juan Soto light.
Agreed.
Because he walks more than he strikes out. And that's not going to change, I don't think. I think he's going to walk more than he strikes out in his career. So I think he's going to walk a lot. I think his bat to ball is still really good. And I think he puts hard contact on the ball enough. Like I think Wander Franco
also fast as shit too. So he's going to beat out a lot of those infield hits, like maybe turning, singles to doubles, a lot of those kind of things.
Yeah. So I think the Trop also helps him. Like that's a pretty hitter friendly ballpark. Like I think he can poke him down the corner a little bit too. So I like Wander to go over that just barely. Like I don't think we're looking at him like best hitter in baseball this year, but
Trey Turner led the league in WAR and had a 142 WRC plus.
Yeah, like I could see Wander doing something like that.
I agree.
So that's that.
Next year.
Yeah.
But
all right,
that will go to show that other people in just baseball said under. I really want to track this bet. I think it's going to go over, dude.
Then nothing's stopping you. Just track it.
Okay, good. I will.
All right. First of our two Giants over-unders, because we just played GM with the San Francisco Giants.
Yes,
Over-under 9.5 players to appear in 100 or more games for the San Francisco Giants in 2022. They had 10 guys play north of 100 games last year. They are notorious for resting their old guys now. That's what they did. That's why they were so successful in 2021. It obviously worked. They won 170 games, or they won 107 games, not 170, by playing a bunch of different guys and having 10 guys play north than 100 games. Do they do it again? Over under 9.5?
Over. I think it's a lock. I would have said it at 10.5 of RU because I think they're going to be having even more players who are over 100 games. Remember, no Buster Posey. They're losing out on Chris Bryant. There are pieces that are leaving that will have to be filled in by these talented role players. So I would say yes, over 9.5 players play over 100 games.
Yeah. What's 9 times 162?
1,200.
9 times 162 is 1458.
Close.
If you divvy that up among 15 people, they play 97 games. Yeah, I'd say over. Here's the thing, though. Like, they just have so much depth where, like, Dubon and Tyro Estrada played, like, 80 games. And that took some games
this year.
Yeah, like, somebody could play 100. So I'm going to go over that, too. You've got another Giants over under.
And they lost Donovan Solano.
Yeah.
So, like, someone's going to have to.
Might be some numbers there.
Right.
Yeah.
My next over under a 2.75 ERA for Logan Webb in 2022.
Under's the good thing.
So he had a 3.03 ERA last year in 148 innings, but his FIP and his xFIP were both in the 2.72 to 2.79 range. So there's underlying metrics that say he might have been a bit unlucky with a 3.03 ERA. But remember, they're going to rely on him to throw as close to 200 innings as possible. The sinker slider changeup combination is still lethal. But 2.75 is lofty. Lofty. What do you think?
I'm going to say over because I think throwing to Buster Posey and throwing to Joey Bart and Kurt Casale are two different things. That's my only reasoning.
Such a good point.
Thanks,
I didn't
man.
even think about that, and I should
What
have
I'm here
thought
to
about
do.
that.
Not worried about the defense behind him. The defense is still going to be really good with Brandon Crawford at short and, whoever the hell you want to put at other spots around the infield. And the outfield is going to be athletic and fast.
But I think his battery mate's going to hurt him. Like Buster Posey is just a pitcher enhancer, and Joey Bart has not proved that yet. And Kurt Casale is the most mediocre name I could possibly say on this podcast.
Could I turn right back around though? Because this was the first season that really he started using the sinker, slider, changeup as his 3 most used pitches. Like in 2020, he threw his 4-seam fastball 34% of the time. In 2021, he threw it 10% of the time. Like it, maybe with another year, is he even better than he was last year? And I think that's what people are expecting him to do, is to make that jump. But then how does that relate to the ERA? Because like his expected ERA was 3.44, which is interesting. So maybe listen, he wasn't as unlucky. I don't know.
It's tough because I set the number like right at 275. Like I think you're spot on with that. I think he's going to be like a 279 pitcher, which is an improvement.
Should make Vegas lines.
Yeah, why not? I mean,
I should.
You look at him all the time.
I do every day,
all day, every day. Yeah, like that's a really good line. I'm going to say just over, like a 2.8 ERA for Logan Webb.
I agree. I think it will be over, but I think it'll be under 3.
Yeah. So we're in the same ballpark right there. Do you agree that it's the battery change that does him the difference?
Yeah, because if it's yes, not the whole thing. But yes, that will definitely make an impact.
All right.
We're going from one of the best receivers of all time to a rookie.
Yeah. Last over-under of the episode. Over-under 8.5 Mets games attended by Peter Apple in 2022.
Over, for sure.
Yeah, you're a Mets fan.
Not necessarily.
Just
but
acknowledge
I will be
it.
There.
If you're going to 10
I'm rooting
Mets
for the
games
Mets
this year.
I'm rooting for the Mets.
If you're going to 10 Mets games,
Mets fan?
Yeah, like you're going to 10. There are 81 home games. You're going to 9 or 10. That's like north of 10%.
Yeah. That number's pretty good. That's a lot. But we were credentialed for Mets games last year. Hopefully we're trying to get credentialed again for the New York Mets. I would say I go over. We'll count that one too.
8.5. Yeah, I say you go over because you were turning into a diehard Mets fan.
I bleed orange.
Well, that's from your college days, but
exactly.
Yeah, I think you do. I think you love the Mets and you're kicking the Yankees to the curb by 2025.
It's the Mets, baby. It's the Mets.
Yeah, whatever that is. George Costanza.
No, it's a TikTok thing.
Oh, is it?
You're an influencer.
Not as much as you are.
Do we have anything else to talk about?
I don't think so. I think it's nap time for me.
Nap time for you. I'm feeling bad for you in the Midwest, which should be the Middle East, for all that snow.
No, I'm switching the mic for the end of the podcast. Actually, no, I can't do that. I got to take it with us because of the software that I'm using. But for the fine folks watching on YouTube, this is what it looks like outside. It looks like crap for all you people listening.
And also for those fine people watching on YouTube, you can also check out Jack McMullen's wearing his Just Baseball sweatshirt. I'm wearing my Just Baseball t-shirt. Now he's the one posing. Kind of look like in Dwayne the Hunk Johnson back there.
Hunk is not his nickname. It's Rock, actually.
Tried to change it for you, man.
No.
No.
All right. We will talk to you on Monday with a new episode. That'll be Aram and I, and then Pete and I back at it on Tuesday. None of this Thursday crap anymore. This was a late working week for me and Pete, but you know what? It's fun. Jeff Passan didn't make it seem like we were close to a deal. I hope that changes. I really freaking hope that changes so bad because I want baseball like so bad, like right now. But we're going to get 150 AAA games this year. There will be minor league baseball. There's going to be indie ball. There's going to be college baseball. We're going to cover whatever baseball is going on. It's just baseball because why the hell not? We like this sport.
Why the hell not expect college baseball coverage? Expect minor league coverage all over justbaseball.com. We're coming out with a new college baseball podcast. Arm's already got his podcast called The Call Ups. You can read about it on justbaseball.com, or you can listen wherever you stream your podcasts, or you can watch it all go down on YouTube. We're also starting up baseball trivia soon. I'm starting up Not Gambling Advice, the podcast, going over fantasy baseball and gambling stuff. And Jack, you may have something interesting coming in the works.
Possibly. We shall see. But that will remain a secret until it actually happens. So good weekending, everybody. And
Thank you, everybody.